Daily Words of God. 3. Sound. What is the third thing? It is also something that is an essential part of the normal environment of human existence, something for which God had to make arrangements when He created all things. It is very important to God and to each and every human being. If God had not taken care of this thing, it would have greatly interfered with the survival of mankind, meaning it would have had such a significant impact on the life of man and his fleshly body that mankind would not have been able to survive in such an environment. It could be said that no living thing could have survived in such an environment. So, what is this thing I speak of? I am speaking about sound. God created everything, and everything lives within God's hands. All of the things of God's creation are living and turning in constant motion within His sight. What I mean by this is that each thing God created has value and meaning in its existence. That is, there is something essential about the existence of each and everything. In God's eyes, each thing is alive, and since all things are alive, each of them produces sound. For instance, the earth is constantly turning, the sun is constantly turning, and the moon, too, is constantly turning. As all things propagate, develop, and move, they are constantly emitting sound. All of the things of God's creation that exist on earth are in constant propagation, development, and motion. For example, the bases of mountains are moving and shifting, and all the living things in the depths of the seas are swimming and moving about. This means that these living things, all things in the sight of God, are in constant, regular motion in accordance with established patterns. So what is it that is brought into being by all of these things that propagate and develop in darkness and move in secrecy? Sounds. Great, powerful sounds. Beyond planet Earth, all kinds of planets are also in constant motion, and living things and organisms on these planets are also constantly propagating, developing, and moving. That is, all things with life and without life are constantly moving forward in the sight of God. And as they do, each of them is also emitting sound. God has also made arrangements for these sounds, and I believe you already know His reason for this, do you not? When you get close to an airplane, what effect does the roar of its engine have on you? If you stay near it too long, your ears will be deafened. What about your heart? Will it be able to withstand such an ordeal? Some people with weak hearts would not. Of course, even those with strong hearts will not be able to withstand it for too long. That is to say, the effect of sound on the human body, whether it be the ears or the heart, is extremely significant for every human being, and sounds that are too loud will harm people. Therefore, when God created all things, and after they had begun to function normally, God made appropriate arrangements for these sounds, the sounds of all things in motion. This, too, is one of the issues God had to consider when creating an environment for mankind. First, the height of the atmosphere above the Earth's surface has an effect on sound. In addition, the size of gaps in the soil will also manipulate and affect sound. Then there are various geographical environments whose confluence also affects sound. That is to say, God uses certain methods to eliminate some sounds, so that humans may survive in an environment that their ears and hearts can withstand. Otherwise, sounds would present a massive obstacle to mankind's survival, becoming a great nuisance in their lives and posing a serious problem for them. This means that God was very particular in His creation of land, the atmosphere, and the various kinds of geographical environment, and contained within each of these is God's wisdom. Mankind's understanding of this need not be too detailed. It is enough for people to know that God's actions are contained therein. Now you tell me, this work that God did, precisely calibrating sound in order to maintain mankind's living environment and their normal lives, was it necessary?
Yes.
Since this work was necessary, then from this perspective, can it be said that God used this work as a way to provide for all things? God created such a quiet environment for the provision of mankind, so that the human body could live quite normally within it, without suffering any interference, and so that mankind would be able to exist and live normally. Is this, then, not one of the ways in which God provides for mankind? Was this not a very important thing God did?
Yes.
There was great need of it. So how do you appreciate this? Though you cannot feel that this was God's action, nor do you know how God performed this action at the time, can you still sense the necessity of God having done this thing? Can you feel God's wisdom and the care and thought He put into it?
Yes, we can.
If you are able to feel this, then that is enough. There are many actions God has performed among the things of His creation that people can neither feel nor see. I raise this simply to inform you about God's actions, so that you may come to know God. These are clues that can better enable you to know and understand God.